Hello and welcome to the December edition of Extra. I'm Joanne Hines.
And I'm Georgia Lash. Here at Extra, we bring you expanded coverage of recently broadcast features from Sun City News. Now, we're all anxious to close out 2020, but there are moments worth remembering. Joanne, remind us of one such event.
Our Sun City Veterans Association always create a touching ceremony to honor our Sun City veterans. Our Sun City TV crew was there to catch it all, from the stirring vocals of our Sun City singers to the keynote presentation.
I'm here with Dave Davis, and Dave is the Vice Commander of the Sun City Veterans Association and also the organizer of this fantastic event commemorating the 75th anniversary of World War II. What a beautiful, beautiful
Yes, ma'am.
folder here.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about what's going to happen here today.
Well, we're celebrating the all Veterans Day, of course, and honoring all veterans who've served this great country of ours. And especially we're commemorating the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II. And we have about 16 World War II veterans here in Sun City that were able to attend today. So we're very privileged and honored to have them here.
And you have a lot of important dignitaries here today. Tell us about that.
We have Senator Davis, we have the members from the Bluffton City Council, Hilton Head, as well as from the Beaufort County. And we also have from the Board of Directors here in Sun City as well. Most of the members are here. So we feel very honored to have them here as well.
And I hear there's some great singing in the background.
Yes, we have the Sun City Singers here. They always come and participate on Veterans Day and Memorial Day. And as you can hear, they're great.
Yes, they are great. And it's good. I mean, I know the weather has been kind of iffy, and you moved it over here to the pavilion. It looks like it might be a good day, but that's a good choice to go in here, right?
Right. Well, we were a little concerned with the weather projections yesterday morning, so we made the call. We figured if it's in here and it doesn't rain, that's good. If we were out there and it did rain, then that would not be good. So we made the decision to be in here, and it seems like it's working out just fine.
Okay. Well, Dave, thank you for speaking with me, and we look forward to a great ceremony.
Thank you very much, and we thank you for coming out here and helping us all out and getting this word out about our veterans.
Okay, a great organization.
Thank you.
Let us remember before our God today those who sacrificed during times of war in order that we might have liberty and freedom and security. Veterans, both living and dead, who fought on land, in the air, and on the water.
Our keynote speaker for today is James Lamar. Jim is a 1995 graduate of the U.S. Air Force Academy, became a U.S. Navy flight officer with 52 combat missions in both the East 2C Hawkeye and FA-18 Hornet of the carrier USS Abraham Lincoln in the Persian Gulf.
As I said, it's a great honor to be speaking in front of all of you today. And we all share this common bond in that we are veterans of this great country. But it's heroes like my grandfathers, it's heroes like my father, and the heroes among us today that led me to serve. There are currently 2.1 million members of the United States military and over 18.8 million veterans who are currently serving or have served to protect the livelihood and freedoms we so cherish today. I'm getting a little choked up. So to all of you, I say thank you for your service. So 2 years ago, as Tom mentioned, I started this new business called the Low Country Speaker Series and was reintroduced to the Low Country. And what I found is that this community is far and away the most volunteer-oriented, altruistic, a group of people that I've ever met. And I've said this before, I've said this in front of several of you before, and I recognize you in the audience. But I mean it. It is the veterans who lead this charge. It is the veterans who, not surprisingly, lead from the front. You, in my mind, have clearly rewired, not only by continuing to support each other and by supporting the traditions of military service, but also by supporting this community, especially during this current pandemic, which is arguably one of the most difficult times in our country's history. The military is a service, but that service to your fellow soldier, shipmate, or airman, that service to your neighbor and community, and that service to our great country never ends. So, thank you for your service.
I'm here with World War II veteran Henry Salpag, and he's featured in the booklet that the Veterans Association has put. He was a handsome devil.
Oh, God.
You still are, Henry.
Yeah. Well, they don't believe that I'm 95.
95 years old. Amazing. And Henry, it says here that you were on the ship that fired the last shot of World War II.
Yeah.
Tell us, what ship was that?
USS Concord, a light cruiser. Oh, it was an 04 Stacker. If I had to do it again, I'll do it again.
Thank you for your service, and I hope to see you again back here next year when you're 96 years old.
I hope so.
Thank you, Henry.
Bravo to our World War II vets as the 75th anniversary of the end of World War II is recognized. And thanks to the Veterans Association for all they do.
Now let's set that 2020 calendar to this holiday season. Whether you've got family or friends joining you, or you're spending a quiet holiday, Sun City TV checked out some ideas for you. Georgia, let's start you out.
Reporter Tina Thompson takes us outside of Sun City to a destination everyone can safely enjoy.
Hi, Robin. It is beautiful out here. Nice fall day, cool weather. You know, we got farmers market. We got so much activity out here.
Isn't it beautiful? Thanks for coming and visiting us
well,
today.
I really, really appreciate you taking the time. Robin, a lot of our Sun City people come out here.
I know, and I'm missing them right now because they're volunteers. They work at our desk. I've got one gal that does all my filing, and they do tours and lead everything. So we love Sun City people to volunteer.
Well, you know, there's a lot of history I've heard about this property, and if you could share with us some of that history, because a number of the residents haven't been here or they don't know about it.
Well, the Hack family moved to this property in 1950, and they lived here until 1998, and then the property was sold to the town of Hilton Head with the stipulation the museum could have the property. So the town owns this piece of property. We have a 98-year lease, and we pay $1 a year. Wow. So it's a great piece of property. There's a lot of history before that. Even prior to the Civil War, there's parts of this house were here. So it was added on over the years. But since 1998, it's been the museum. And then here at Honeyhorn, we came out here in 2007.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I know it's been a challenge during these times, and really anxious to find out what's on the horizon from you.
What we've had to do, we've had to limit the maximum on our programs because some of our rooms are smaller and we can only have so many people in the rooms. But yesterday we started our first virtual public lectures, and it was about bird migration. And so we can have 15 people in place here, but we can have 85 watching it virtually. And so we're doing that for the month of October, November, and December. So people can still participate in the public lectures, but they'll be doing it virtually if they want to. So that's a great opportunity to learn all the same things you're learning about, but you'll be doing it virtually.
What other kinds of things do you have on the horizon and programs? What should we be looking out for?
Oh my goodness, that's a toughie. We still have our blue crab program. You know, we do that 2 mornings a week. We bait the trap the night before. In the morning, when you come to the program, we pull the trap up. You learn about the blue crabs. Are they the right size for us to harvest? Or do we have to put them back? We teach you how to tell a male from a female. We cook them, steam them, and then you get to eat them. You pick them apart and get to eat them. So it's blue crab discovery, which people really, really enjoy doing that. So it's a fun thing for families if you got grandchildren in town, which Sun City people have lots of grandkids, and they're always looking for something. And then we do another program that's called Reptiles and Amphibians, and we do it in our lab and bring out the animals that we have in there. We've got 4 new baby alligators, and so they'll be on display shortly. They're not quite ready yet. They have to be trained.
Well, that's awesome, and this is really beautiful out here and exciting. It's a nice place. I see you've got picnic tables over there.
Yes. A lot of people during this pandemic have called and said, can we bring our lunch and come sit? Because you're out here in the open, so why not come enjoy it? A lot of little groups have been meeting here, so we welcome people to come and enjoy. You can walk the property and not have to see another person. Walk down to see the horses. You know, they're either, we've got 2 horses. We've got a marsh tacky horse and then a retired quarter horse. They're both old, they're retired, and they have foot problems, you know, like all of us, but people love to see the horses. And one being a marsh tacky, that's the state heritage horse.
Now, how do we find out more about the museum and the activities and the programs?
Our website is very, very, very intense. It has everything on it, and you can make the reservations. It's www.coastaldiscovery.org, O-R-G. You can go online, click tours here. We do some on water, and you can make the reservations directly, or they can call here. We have a reservationist that's always here. That's the best way. Or if they're a member, you get email alerts every Tuesday about special programs going on.
Robin, any parting words?
I just really appreciate you're here, and I want you to go to the farmer's market and get all those vegetables you need.
Well, thank you, Robin. And that's a wrap for Sun City TV.
The Coastal Discovery Museum is a beautiful location, informative and entertaining.
Now, Joanne, we heard another story about an opportunity for a holiday diversion.
Lake Somerset is one of our favorite spots in Sun City. The fun there amps up when the RV Boat Club gets those engines revved, and the enjoyment is right here in our backyard.
I'm here at beautiful Lake Somerset with Robert Officer, who's president of an official group here called the RC Boat Enthusiasts. We're going to see some great action and find out a little bit about the group.
Well, this club was started about 3 years ago. I should say it's a group, officially a group. And we just love coming down here and enjoying Lake Somerset. And as you can see, it's a beautiful spot. I picnic down here too also. But we've got right around 80 members, which is a large group for such a specific group as RC boats. And we deal with just power boats. We do not have any sailboats in the club. We have power boats, factory-built power boats, which is this. This boat is hand-built by me. And we have another nice hand-built boat you'll have an opportunity to see in a minute that's built by a retired engineer. We cover all areas of speed performance, hand building, custom building, antique boats, aircraft carriers. We have one or two of those in the club.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had one that was 7 feet long that helicopters could fly off of, and it had a water well in the back with a small boat could drive in and out with a closable door.
Well, that sounds good. Now, do you do actual racing, or are you just out here enthusiastically?
We race the smaller boats. I don't see, that size of boat we race together, and they bump into each other and run over each other, and we just have a lot of fun.
And what's your personal background and what got you into this?
I've been around the ocean since I was a child. My father used to have commercial fishing boats in San Diego.
Now, if I were to approach the group as a beginner, what kind of costs would I be looking at, and could I get training from the group?
Absolutely. I train and mentor anybody and everybody that's here. And the guys will tell you I have a pretty good supply of parts. I've been in this probably 17 years in the RC boat and RC airplanes and things. So we're well equipped to help people come here, get started, have some fun, where they don't feel pressured and not able to do what they want to do. And that boat right there is an excellent boat, very reliable. It comes complete with a battery for about $145, and you can get into boating, get into racing, have a lot of fun without spending much money.
Now, if I wanted to build an aircraft carrier, which costs the government billions, how much would it cost?
I built a 7-foot-long aircraft carrier, and that's the one I told you about that had helicopters that flew off of it. It had a rear opening door, which is a wet well, which assault ships in our military have the same thing. So I copied it in miniature, and a little jet boat came in and out the back as the door opened and closed. And it was hand-built out of foam, mostly in plywood. It probably didn't involve $300 or $400.
I'm here with Bill Zinger. And Bill, what's your background and what got you into boating?
Well, I've been radio-controlled model airplanes and models pretty much all my life since I was about 10 or 12.
Well, tell us about the boats you have here.
Well, this boat here, this is a fast boat. And I got it off of Bob. It was Bob's at one time, and all I did was take it and put a little more tape on it, and it can run up to 6 cells. And Bob just told me today that when he took this out of the box, brand new, first time out, he put a speed checker in it, 57 miles an hour.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.
That sounds like so much fun and definitely a grandkid pleaser.
Now, for those times when you're not ready to do some mingle in your jingle, think about curling up with a good book. Any ideas, Georgia?
Lifestyles brought back Meet the Author, and I had an opportunity to hear the almost unbelievable life story of the featured author. Spoiler alert, he's one of our own Sun City neighbors.
After several months, we are back at Sun City's Meet the Author event. And what better way to restart than with an author who is a longtime Sun City resident and a Sun City TV medical contributor, our very own Dr. Louis Valente. Dr. Lou, may I call you Dr. Lou as we call you in the studio?
Yes, you certainly may.
When did you decide to write your autobiography?
Well, in 2008 is when I decided to write a letter to my children, because they didn't really understand me, how I could spend so much time in the office and be so dedicated and all of that. And so I sat down and just started to write. And I wrote a couple of dozen pages. But then I didn't like what I wrote. I didn't like how I started, and I didn't like anything about it. So I put my pen down and sort of forgot about it. But my son John, who's a writer, would ask me periodically, "Dad, how you doing with your writing?" And I repeatedly said, I'm I'm dead, and no, not can't do it. And then a year and a half or so ago, he asked me again, and I said, John, I don't like what I've written, but I don't know how to start it. And he said, begin with a life-altering experience. And my life-altering experience was to walk away from my houses, my practices, and to go to medical school. And then just before I graduated, Channel 5, which was a national channel, interviewed me. And at the end of the interview, she said, you see, it's never too late to follow your dreams. And when we were talking about this, and John is my publisher, he said, Dad, too many words in the title. Why don't we just call it Following Dreams? And I said, okay.
Now, Dr. Valente, you say that you grew up in a family of musicians. Now, you made a quick transition, maybe not so quick, but a transition to the sciences. How did that happen?
Well, when I started college, I signed up as a biology major. I had no interest in music whatsoever, and I never thought about it again. And so 7 years after being in college for 7 years, I only had 2 years of credit because I was working most of the time because I didn't have the financial wherewithal.
Now, you talk about dreams and following dreams, and those were accompanied by several challenges that you had. When you began to put this book together, what was the most difficult part of writing the book?
The most difficult part was the beginning. How do you start it? And I just told you what happened. But it started to flow. It was like water down a waterfall. And I would get up at 3:34, start writing until 10 o'clock at night. And none of it was planned. It just flowed.
Doctor, as I read the book, your life, those dreams, those challenges they brought you had so much of an evolution. When did you begin the interest with first medical research, then dentistry, medicine, and then finally a professor in a medical school teaching the med students?
Well, Georgia, you're very kind about all of this. I never had a dream. I was struggling all the time just to survive. And I had many jobs. I was in and out of school all the time. And one time I got a part-time job in an animal research facility, and my job was like the zookeeper. I used to wash the walls, clean the cages, feed the rabbits and the mice. And that was my job, and I really loved it. I always loved every job I had anyways. And the doctors would come up and inject the animals, and I'd stand in the corner in awe of them. And then one day, one of the doctors came up alone, and he asked me to hold the rabbits, and I did. And he was having trouble getting an IV, and as brash as I was, I said, Dr. Kulka, would you like me to try? Because he was frustrated. And I did the next 20 rabbits on the first try with intravenous. And then one day he said, Lou, you have to come down and work in the lab with us. And then I started to learn to do surgery and anesthesia and transplanting, and they were wonderful. They taught me, they took me out of the animal cage and put me in a research laboratory. And that's what sparked my interest. I did that for 4 or 5 years as a researcher, and continued that when I was in dental school, when I did a research project on tooth transplantation antigenicity, for which I was awarded the Research Prize of the Year at Harvard. And it was just after that, it was just a continuation. Nothing was really planned, like sit down and write a blueprint. But it was amazing. One thing just sort of led me to something else. And as tough as it was, I just never was concerned about the work that was involved, the hardships, the finances. it just all worked out.
Of course, that's Dr. Valente, our own Sun City TV medical contributor. Wow, what a story.
What a life.
Well, that's extra for December. I'm Joanne Hines. Please check out the program guide in Sun Stations and the Sun City website for our other Sun City TV monthly shows.
And I'm Georgia Lash. Thank you for watching. Please join us again next month as we start a new year of extra coverage of stories and features from Sun City News.
Happy holidays!
Happy New Year.